What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Best Bet Show. It's the last regular season games of the year, Week 18. I'm your host, Matty Chucks, with my co-host, Austin's Props. Austin, how are we feeling this morning?
Dude, we're up. It's finally here, man. It's been a fun season looking back at it. It kind of feels like it's went by quick, but honestly not really. You know what I mean? Like it feels like it's been a quality long year. A lot of wins, a lot of good vibes, tough beats as well. We've had our heartbreaks, but overall, man, it's been a great season and I'm excited to absolutely destroy playoffs. I feel like you and I are playoff type guys.
I agree. I
You know?
think I think the regular season, I'm done with the BS. Teams are experimenting with some plays, some whatever. Playoffs should be fun. I feel like we have a good read on some contenders or pretenders. But Week 18, guys, I will just start off by saying be cautious this week. A lot of games do not matter. Just a lot of them do not matter at all. So we're gonna try to avoid those games. This guy said, Austin, rip it,
Randy
Randy.
showing love.
Got a
That's
little
what's
sup
up.
boys in there. Guys, feel free to ask any questions if you want. We're going to go through a couple games and talk about which games obviously matter. If you don't know which games matter, we'll do a quick little run through. With the 1 p.m. games, the Browns are pretty much not moving. They're going to rest some guys. The Bengals are eliminated. That game does not matter. If the Bucks beat the Panthers, they are in. They win their division. They're in the playoffs. They get the 4 seed. So that game does matter. Jets Patriots does not matter. The Patriots do get the second overall pick if they lose, and the Cowboys, I think, also lose. So it's not going to happen. That game does not matter. Vikings Lions. The Lions could possibly get the 2 seed if the Cowboys lose. I think, and the Eagles have to lose. That's probably not happening. So that game most likely does not matter either. But Dan Campbell's also a little bit of a psychopath. So you never really know what's going to go on there. Jaguars beat the Titans, they're in, and the Falcons, the last Falcons Saints 1 p.m. game. If whoever wins that game wins the division if the Bucks lose. But if the Bucks win, that game does not matter. So this one said Browns game means nothing for them. Can we see a sprinkle and mix in 2+ TDs? I mean, it means nothing for both teams. Jamar Chase is probably going to still want to get his. T. Higgins, I believe, he's in a contract year. He's probably trying to boost some numbers. He doesn't want to get hurt either. I would just avoid those games. If we're being honest, you don't want to touch those games. You don't know when those guys are going to play. If they're going to get subbed out in the half. I doubt books put a lot of live lines up in those unimportant games, so I don't think you'll have a lot of options anyway. But let's talk about one of those games first. Bucks and Panthers opened up at 2.5. It's now 4. I think it was 5.5 earlier. Went back down to 4. Found a sweet spot. Bucks road favorites on the road, obviously, against Carolina. Austin, you think the Bucks pull it out, or you think they get upset?
Yeah, I think Carolina comes in, or I think Tampa comes in here and takes care of business, covers as well. I think they secure the playoff spot. You know what I mean? It seems right. This Panthers team is awful. They hurt to watch. Like they're running the ball when they're down 14, like nonstop. I lean Tampa Bay. I would have hammered it at -2.5. I still like it at 4, but I think I think they cover outright. Like I think they win 7+.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see it. I'm unfortunately not rooting for that for my division parlays that I put in the beginning of the year, but I do think that that's obviously the biggest hurdle for me to get through, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm not going to bet it because I'm rooting for the other one. Yeah, Prize Picks, along with a lot of other books, man, they don't want to get beat bad. There's a lot of things that a lot of regular people can kind of figure out based off messed up lines, and they're just not going to give us the opportunity to bet the over or under in a lot of things. But let's talk about the Jaguars Titans. Titans don't need to win. They're eliminated, but the Jaguars win and they're in. Opened at 2.5. It's now 3.5. Road favorites in Tennessee. This one I don't think is easy. I think the Titans can win this game. What are your thoughts overall here?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for me, honestly, looking at it, like Derrick Henry, guys like that. Like, if you're already eliminated, do you really want to risk those assets that you could potentially trade or their core pieces that you're building next season when you're trying to be more of a contender? That's why I like guys like Justin Jefferson this week. I know a lot of people like him. I like the matchup. It makes sense. But it's like, is the Vikings risking that? You know what I mean? Like Jamar Chase, like you said, like a lot of those guys, I think unders are really smart this week. I tried to sprinkle. I think I'm on 2 unders of my 5 plays, which is more than usual. And like I don't personally think a lot of these guys go over props. I just think it's it makes no sense to risk one of your most valuable assets, you know what I mean, in a garbage game that doesn't matter. I know you want to win and all that, but like once you're already out, like do you actually really want to win? Like
Oh yeah, I
what
I
draft
completely
position?
agree.
You know what I mean? You lose draft position and you risk your assets. I don't think like it's smart to be taking a bunch of guys playing in nothing overs personally.
I completely agree. The game I'm interested in the most in is the Falcons Saints game. 3 point spread. Obviously, they need the Bucks to lose, but they're gonna play that game like they're gonna win and get in because they're playing at the same time.
Right.
So that's the game I'm gonna watch. I actually just posted Taylor Heineke over rushing yards. I'm gonna talk about it for a little bit. But I think the books literally just pulled it down. Um, so I don't know what the hell happened. I don't think it was me, but if it was, that's pretty cool. But Taylor Heineke this season, 14, 20, 34, 10, and 46 yards. His line was 15 and a half. The Saints allow so many quarterbacks to go over their rushing yards. Ritter starting. He just got out.
Let's
Well, that
go, man.
that defeats my whole purpose.
I'm on Drake
Um,
London, and I loved Ritter with London more, so I'm actually with that. I think I
well,
predicted that pretty well.
I think I'm just gonna bet Ritter, if we're being honest, if his line comes up, because I still like it. I think he runs it himself. The Saints allow so many quarterback rushing yards. I'm going to wait for that line to come up. I'm not even seeing any
We
lines in
want
that
this
game
Tampa Bay
anymore.
Carolina game to stay close because if it's a blowout at halftime, Bucks or Falcon Saints could just throw the towel in, you know? Like
I
they
think they're still going to play. It's
you
not going to
think
be a blowout enough to where it matters. Like, you can still root for them to come back down 20, and like they're going to be too focused on the game at hand to worry about.
pulling guys, you think?
Yeah,
Because that was my worry with Drake London. I know it's not like the most needed spot because of that. So
I completely agree. Damn, I'm actually really upset. I loved that spot. I'm seeing a lot of line movements right now. It looks like with all these reports, like is David Montgomery out for the Lions?
I saw some lines for him. I have not heard that he was
See him
out.
anymore. They're all off as well. I only see Jameer Gibbs, which,
Interesting. Yeah, they had lines up yesterday when I was in the lab.
which is just annoying. But this is the type of stuff that we're talking about. It's going to be a really, really odd week. You might see some really weird lines. Like I see Hubbard's rushing yards is 60 and a half on FanDuel, but it's 56.5 on every other book. There
Did
should
you
be a
see
lot of middle opportunities if we're being honest.
did you happen to see where Jared Goff pass yards were?
No.
He was at like 207 on a book I saw. When is Goff at 207? But like obviously he could get shut down at any time.
Yeah, he may only play a half.
Exactly. So it's like, damn, you could get Jared Goff at two, you know. So it's just there's so many uncertainties that it's really just playing with fire and like you need luck if you're gonna have a monster day on this. If you're playing overs, a ton of overs in certain spots, you know what I mean. So
Yeah, I
I would
agree.
be careful betting today.
Here I am betting the only game I think matters and the quarterback just gets
I
absolutely.
was looking at that. I saw some reports that they weren't sure who was starting, like some beat writer stuff, but all I thought was Heineke, but I'm glad it was Ritter, not gonna lie.
For your Drake London.
I think it's a better spot. I think Heineke's terrible, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know. I said I posted on Twitter. I know everyone's saying he's out.
As long as Goff gets 52, yeah, we need that free square to cash.
I got a quote tweet and do it right now.
I think this week's really interesting for NFL because there's no fantasy football. You know what I mean? So like everyone's kind of just out of it. You know what I mean? I can tell the vibes are just a little lower, but you know, we still
Yeah.
get football to watch.
I'm on Kenneth Walker over 14 and a half carries against the Cardinals as always. I think both running backs in that game are great targets. I think it's going to be a very run heavy game. I know Geno gets like $2 million if they make the playoffs. Seahawks need to win, and it's not going to be an easy game. I think they could be losing, but I think they're going to try to limit mistakes and just try to run the ball. Just like we saw yesterday, the two games that the three teams that needed to win, we saw 24 plus rush attempts from all running backs. They were just playing it safe almost. Just it's all about what I like to say is in those big games, it's not about who makes the biggest plays, it's who messes up the least. And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what they're trying to do. So that's my why I love both running backs in that game. But as far as the 1 p.m. games go now, I'm like just not even looking at them anymore. Besides like Rashad White touchdown maybe.
I only have one prop, and that's Drake London and the 1 p.m. games. But I want to hear what do you think about Seahawks Cardinals? Who are you taking in that spot? 2.5
I
bad
like the way the Cardinals have been playing.
money line.
What?
Cardinals money line.
I don't know if I'd bet that. Like the Cardinals don't need to win. That's my thing. It's like why would they want to win?
They didn't last week, and they certainly looked pretty decent doing it.
I agree, but 4-12. I wonder if there's. I have to look deeper into if the draft stock actually matters in there. I don't know where the other teams are, but I don't think they want to win. You don't want to risk. Not that Kyler was really an issue, but I wouldn't want to risk injuries either to those players. But at the same time, you want to see where you're at, and if you can beat the Seahawks and where they're trying to win, that's a great way to end the season and kind of look
And they're
forward
in
to
the
next season.
and they're in the same division. I think they try a little bit. I lean Cardinals money line here.
I agree. I actually think I like the Saints now with Ritter starting. I'm not gonna lie.
You think he throws a pick or something and
I
turns
just
it
think
over?
I think Heineke's been playing a lot better. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't like Heineke at all, man.
I think Heineke wins games more.
He
Not
just has one of
really.
those cool stories that all the Americans like get crazy over. He went to Old Dominion and he was teaching school and all those bullshit stories where he was
Yeah.
working at Foot Locker and everyone goes crazy for him. It's like, yeah, it's cool and all that, but let's grade him as a professional player. He's not good.
Yeah, I think Ritter's the better quarterback. Like if you need a slinger, he's gonna be the better. But I think Heineke, I think he manages the game better. Ritter throws too many picks for my liking.
That's fair, but like you're not winning a Super Bowl with Heineke. Why are you wasting your time? You're probably not with Ritter either, but at least try
No.
to figure out what I mean. At least try to figure out what you have. Youth versus washed. Like you're not. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude's 30, or like I don't know how old Heineke is, but like you're not going to
I
go
mean,
win something
both
with
of them
him.
combined for 4 picks last game, and Ritter only
Yeah,
threw.
they're
4
both
passes.
terrible, but that's just my thing with NFL in general. Like, why put in? You know what I mean? Those washed guys that like. If you want to be
That's
mediocre, I
true.
guess.
If you're believing Ritter's your guy, you got to throw him to the wolves in this game.
Let him suck instead of wasting games with Heineke out there. When he's like in 4 years, you're not going to be like, oh, we still got Taylor Heineke. You might still have Desmond Ritter.
Are they going to give us a Ritter interception prop? Because I think I'm taking that.
That's going to be so juiced. The
I
only thing
know.
with them is they don't pass a ton.
No, they don't.
What do they have a pass attempt line out yet?
I would assume not with how recent
Yeah, I'm not seeing nothing yet.
the news was. I don't
Yeah,
even see it.
the books really did not give much lines today.
Yeah, no. We may not even get a Ritter line. I'm not gonna lie. Also, like, this is a thing where I think you can. So he's inactive. Who's their third string? Logan Woodside. Yeah, I don't know. Never mind. I don't even know who that is, if we're being honest. But yeah, I don't like them at all. I mean, he lost the last 3 games he played. He threw a pick in the last 3 games. He played against New Orleans the first time. They won 24-15, but he still threw 2 picks. I'm really praying this line isn't super juiced.
I actually love that. I was just reading that.
I like that a lot, honestly.
Plus 329. Where's that at?
I don't know. Probably.
I actually love that. 14.5 a piece.
I think Hopkins gets his because he's a guy who demands it. I feel like, especially from a young quarterback. I think it's so much harder for Mixon to get his 2 touchdowns. I think Hopkins gets 60 yards. I think he gets another incentive as well. That's the only incentive I'd actually worry about. I'm not. It's too hard to get Mixon 2 touchdowns. Like,
I don't think Hopkins gets 2 tutties today. I really don't.
no,
I think
he gets 60 yards.
He might hit the yards and all that, but people are too like locked in with the incentives and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
they're not all gonna cash. Oh, Hopkins needs 2 touchdowns. He's suddenly gonna go get.
They still have Heineke passing yards lines up. This is ridiculous. Up. Did we get a Ritter? We got a Ritter. 176.5 passing yards. Trying to see pass attempts.
166.5, you said?
176.5. I'm looking at passing attempts right now. They still have Heineke up in some books. Like PointsBet still has Heineke lines up.
Yeah, see, like Derrick Henry rush yards at 49.5. Normally, yeah, we'd be like hammering that, but like there's a reason that line's right there.
He's splitting carries.
He's gonna split carries, and like I said earlier, you don't want to risk your valuable asset. Like Henry's a trade piece you could potentially move, you know what I mean, or keep him next year and build it like they have. Why risk him breaking something or pulling something or doing anything in a week 18 when you're eliminated?
Yeah.
But that's how I feel with Hopkins a little bit too. That's why I'm a little like, I don't know.
I completely agree. I see Ritter at 17.5 rushing yards now, and he
That's
hasn't
too high. Come
he
on, man.
hasn't done that in forever. But the game against the Saints, he had 7 carries.
Yeah, probably 2 kneels, 3 kneels.
Yeah, he had 30 yards though. Trying to think. That was 1 kneel. 6 carries for 31 yards. I'm not touching anymore.
Also, I got one thing for you. Every week we talk about the rush attempt props, like, oh, you could get some value with the kneels. Have you benefited from that this season?
No.
I have not one time, not once.
No.
It's an interesting thing that you see every week. You see guys kneeling, but it just has not happened to benefit me this season one time.
Yeah. I see Baker Mayfield's rush attempts is at 2.5.
He's going to kneel 3 times after I just said that, dude.
I'm just saying, like, those are the lines that he doesn't really run the ball at all. Yeah, he had two kneels against the Panthers earlier in the year.
Also, another thing I wanted to surprise you with. What is your best prop you think this season? Your favorite prop you've had for NFL this season, and your least profitable one that, like, when you bet on them, you just seem to lose.
I know for a fact one of my best ones was field goals made, obviously, but I'm not going to count that one. I think when I looked at my numbers, it was I know my least profitable was wide receiver receiving yards.
Same.
But
That is the worst prop.
yeah, but receptions I was a lot better at when it was just receptions. When it was Evan Ingram, Snipes, a couple like running backs receptions, but the receiving yards was the one that got me. Like running back receiving yards is also very profitable for me. Those are the two. But receptions overall, like a wide receiver receptions or like a tight end receptions, that was the better route for me. What about you?
Receiving yards for wide receivers, I was like right around 50%. I think it's hard. I'm not going to play as much of them moving forward. I think they get you because they put those wide receiver ones a little bit lower than normal. So you're like, right there, and of course that's the week they sell. So I'm not saying they're all bad. I like was good at them. I think I was right around 54%, but that one and Russian receiving were like my 2 props where I was the lowest on this season.
Yeah.
Like running back rush receiving yards. I think I had guys cover their rush yards and miss their rush receiving so many times, and that was frustrating. But my best was by far pass attempts.
Yeah, I think that is the best one, honestly, in general.
I think I was a pioneer of putting that into gambling Twitter. Not necessarily sports betting, but I was not seeing much pass attempts until we like started talking about it legit daily,
I agree. I think the books are behind.
They were definitely behind earlier because the first 6 weeks it was the most hit prop. Like the overs for pass attempts were the most hit.
Yeah, especially in a pass heavier league. I think there's some things that books just don't catch on with. Like it's not a running back league anymore. We know this. It's like this is a bad example, but actually no, it's not. It's like for basketball, I'll do 2 examples: basketball and 3-pointers. Where every year we're shooting way more threes because of the math problem and players shoot better, but we're still getting 2.5 3-pointers lines for a lot of players that have been this way for the last 3 years, shooting more free throw attempts, 3-point attempts a game.
Right.
I think some books are still like obviously the guys like the 10 to 20 guys that are known for shooting threes like Steph or like Halliburton or like Tatum or whatever.
Lillard, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are always going to be at the higher number, but I think you're getting a lot of value on the I don't want to say more role players, but the guys in the tier right below all-star just hitting their threes, and you can find a lot of value. And same with hockey, like there's a lot more goals being scored now where the totals are being up. And like 2 years ago, we saw the average total at 6. Now it's basically 6.5. But there was a year where people just crushed the books because they didn't make the jump to 6.5 yet. And then that year they just crushed the books. This is the year I think that pass attempts just soared over. And next year you're going to see a lot more, I think, higher lines where you're a little more scared. I don't think
Yeah.
they're doing a lot of under pass attempts.
No, I think that's what really well said how you analyze that, especially because like if you looked like you weren't seeing me play like Mahomes, Josh
Yeah.
Allen, Justin Herbert. You weren't seeing me play the three guys that everyone knew about. It was always the Desmond Ridder, 26.5 pass attempts, Lamar Jackson, like the ones that you typically wouldn't expect. The Baker Mayfields, really profitable. Jordan Love, like it was guys like that, and you could find a ton of value just by looking at who the matchup was, because it's a passing league. It is what it is. But I think
completely
that was
agree.
super well said, and I think it was spot on. But it was fun taking advantage of the pass attempts this season.
I wonder if you could do if the books are correlated, like if you could do pass attempts in the SGP with that same team's money line, if it's priced different than the other team's money line, because you obviously want their team to be losing. So it's like if you're getting the same odds, you could probably just do some negative correlation and get some value with the other team's money line and your guys' pass attempts.
Yeah, I don't know if you can honestly, but that makes sense.
That's honestly might be
Like, I
might be
mean,
a
we
pretty
were
well look
taking
at.
Tim Boyle pass attempts. We were taking Zach Wilson, and those were cashing.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I think there's a lot of, again, this week, again, take it easy, don't go too crazy, but there are a lot of lines that we don't know what's gonna happen. And I doubt you get a lot of live opportunity today, like I said. So just be careful with your bets today. We'll do a first touchdown score if we don't have any more questions. I'm on Josh Allen touchdown before I forget. Sunday night game. Let me just pull up my
He
write
ain't
up real
scoring.
quick. He's scoring. Like
He ain't scoring.
I'd probably bet my unborn first son.
Oh,
But
you're due, huh?
he's hit in last 9 of 10 games. He's at 2+ in both last 2 games. 12 of 16 on the year and 6 and 1 on the road. He's hit in every game that he's had 7+ rush attempts, and his rush attempts line is like 7.5, 8.5, depending where you look. And he's 1 rush touchdown shy of OJ Simpson's record. If I'm the Bills, I want OJ Simpson off my record books. That's just me. It just doesn't look that good in my opinion. And Josh Allen, for the many mistakes he's made, he's gonna run that ball in at the goal line. There's no way he's trusting anyone else. It's a winner get in game. There's no way.
So your analysis is basically to get OJ off the books. He's getting
100%.
in.
Well, that's like a supplemental.
Yeah, that's the write up there. Yeah, basically they have OJ Simpson on their record books. They need to get him off. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown.
They're making a call.
Check.
They're making a call.
No, that makes sense. I like that. I think that one or the interception look makes a lot of sense. Just if they're down, I think it's very likely we see him force something up. And I mean, the Dolphins have some quality guys that can go get a interception at any time.
I completely agree. Let's do the first touchdown score. Let's both pick one.
Which game?
We'll pick any game you want. We'll both pick one and we'll parlay him. We'll see if we can hit it. I would pick a game that matters, just my opinion.
Does it have to be plus 1,000?
No, we're gonna parlay it.
James Conner plus 600. I'm so sure on this one.
Does he need to knock OJ Simpson off as well, or
No, he's gonna go crazy.
I want to do Josh Allen, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go Rachaad White. He's probably like plus 400. He literally is plus 400.
Like 9 games without getting in, and then he like suddenly just kept getting in. Was that Rachaad White?
Well, for me?
No, I swear he had like a streak of like 8 games. Maybe that was Tony Pollard.
That was definitely Tony Pollard. Rachaad White's been grubbing.
He's been grubbing. Okay.
And the Panthers allow so many rushing touchdowns. Yeah, no, he didn't have 8 straight weeks. He did have 6 straight weeks earlier in the year, but
I was gonna say there was a stretch where he was like not getting in, and then he kind of just started.
It was 5. He had 5 straight weeks in October. Yeah, he scored in 4 last 5 games.
I love that long shot by Dan right there.
Mr. Dan Bonner.
Dan is cooking this morning, man.
See, Dan always cooks. All right, let me put this in. James Conner and Rashad White. You know what you should do for Jalen Hyatt? You should do under receptions and over yards. Or his longest reception is probably a good look. Let's see. I'm trying to see what his odds are. First touchdown, Rashad White. And time do they play?
128.
Boom. Plus 3,575.
Wait, what?
For them to both to score first.
Plus 350?
Plus, no, 3,575.
Oh, I was going to say, that is horrendous odds. You lost. I was going to say, what you bet on?
Yeah, okay, so I'm putting $20 on that. We'll do 25 for 918.
I like that.
That's what we're doing. That's it for the day. If it hits, I'm taking those two in Ridley. Hey, attaboy, Rob.
Let's go.
Attaboy. Big Rob in the house. But that's it for today. Best of luck on your bets today. We're going to pump out a lot of videos for the playoffs, so stay tuned for that. As of now, just try to enjoy it. Watch the games that are important. And enjoy the last week of regular season football. Best of luck in your bets. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.